customer service across the top, because I know we don't always want to think about that. And I used to ask my staff, is the customer always right? And they would always say, no, they're not right. They're wrong. They don't understand. And I'd say, yes, but there's the customer. You know, we always used to do polls of retail organizations. Nordstrom always came out on top. I love Nordstrom. And they are so happy to help me because I might be willing to buy some expensive outfit from them. And they're going to do everything they can to make that easy for me. Part of that has to do with responsiveness. That's maybe our first obligation. I had a friend who worked as a consultant outside of research administration, but he told me that his company had a rule. He had to respond to an inquiry within 2 hours. Now, 2 hours is, barely enough time for me to read my email or listen to my phone messages. But his responsibility was to get back to the customer, even if it was only to say, I'll need to look into that. I'll get back to you by tomorrow. Tomorrow was always the outside. So responsiveness is important, but people don't want to think that we've forgotten them. Accuracy, don't respond unless it's the truth. You don't want to start by giving them bad information, because then I've got to recover from all that bad information, explain why it was wrong, explain why this is wrong. So take the time to provide accurate information. A lot of that has to do with working with departmental research administrators or with the central administrative office, depending on where you are, or with talking to people in your office who may have already tried to answer this question a number of times. Integrity underpins everything we do, but we have to be honest. Part of honesty is saying, I made a mistake, or I'm so sorry, we did that wrong. We didn't intend to. I understand what we'll do. We'll put provisions in place so it doesn't happen again. Being professional. Professional is kind of a multifaceted characteristic, isn't it? It has to do with being poised. It has to do with looking at the practicalities. It has to do with forming those relationships that serve us. It has to do with knowing the right answers. And it has to do with showing respect for whoever is on the other end of this conversation. Respect underpins it all. And finally, the very last slide here. Jamie, if you would go to that, we're going to do a little silly but very short video. Okay, precise communication at the right point in time. That's what it's all about. I'll just say, not to go on at too much of a length, but this little video always reminds me to stop and say, am I asking the right questions? And what have I learned about the situation before I ever get involved in the conversation? And finally, have I really turned this problem upside down and sideways? Am I trying to think about it creatively without the restrictions that I've put in our common ways of doing business?